they associate temples with idol worship. Greek temples, Roman temples, Hindu temples. But in English, the word temple doesn't have to be for idol worship. A temple is any building that's a religious building built for worship, regardless of whether it's built for the worship of idols or whether it's built for the worship of one God who's not an idol. So the Temple of Solomon was a building that was made for the worship of the one true God. That's just like the Kaaba. In fact, you could call the Kaaba the Temple of Abraham, because the Prophet Abraham built the Kaaba for the worship of one true God. He did it about 1,000 years, more than 1,000 years before Solomon built his temple in Jerusalem. There's actually evidence in Muslim sources in Sahih al-Bukhari that suggests that the Prophet Abraham, he was the one who first built the Temple of Solomon as well. But we're going to put that aside. Of Solomon that was built in Jerusalem 3,000 years ago is a lot like the Temple of Abraham in Mecca today. You can see that very clearly if you go back to the Hebrew. In Hebrew, the word for temple, the word that's being translated as temple, is bait. And that's the same as the Arabic word bait. In Hebrew, the Temple of Solomon is called a bait that's dedicated to God. And in Arabic, the Kaaba is also called a bait that's dedicated to God. Now in English, when you have a building that's dedicated to the worship of a deity, then you translate it as temple, not as house. And that's why Jews and Christians, when they translated the word bait from Hebrew into English, they accurately chose the right word. They chose the word temple. But often when Muslims translate the word bait as it refers to the Kaaba in Mecca into English, they use the word house. And that creates misunderstandings because a house is something that people live in. And the house of God in Mecca, the Kaaba, is not something that God lives in. That's something that Muslims have said for a long time, and every Muslim believes that. Ibn Hajar, in his commentary on Sahih al-Bukhari, he explains that what's meant by bait, when we say that the Kaaba is a bait, is not a house to live in, but a building that's made for the worship of God. And that's why a more accurate English translation of Baytullah, the Bayt of Allah, which is what we call the Kaaba, a more accurate English translation is the Temple of God, or the Temple of Abraham, if you want to ascribe it to the one who first built it, just as the Temple